Just trying to break down the psychology of this one. Steve Bunce said that maybe Eubank Jr. doesn't respect Senior. Because Senior is giving him advice in the corner. But Bunce is saying that Junior is choosing to ignore it because perhaps he don't respect his dad. Bunce said that Senior knows what he's talking about. He's been there, done it, got the t-shirt, blah, blah, blah. Few people laughed it off in the comment section on the newspaper. But I thought about it, really. I'm looking at Eubank Sr.'s response after the fight. He immediately conceded defeat. He didn't say it was close or, well, my guy won, and he may have protested more in the Billy Joe Saunders fight. I'm not too sure. I think he may have done. But this one here he didn't. And I'm thinking, most dads with that blood tie between them and son would find it hard to say, well, my son did lose. If you were to ask Peter Fury who's the best heavyweight, he's going to say Huey, and he clearly isn't, but he's still a man who can break down boxing to a higher level than most people. But his biases are always going to be in favor of his son. I do believe Eubank Sr. believes that Junior lost the fight. But I think the reason why he's kind of just telling Junior straight, yo, you did. I think he's trying to teach him a lesson to say, yeah, well, yeah, you lost. And a lot of it is your doing because you're not listening. What's your problem? You didn't perform. That's what Eubank Sr. said. You didn't perform. It was the right decision. You lost. And so far, we've seen they're really tight, father and son, but Eubank put him out there on social media. No, you lost, right decision, and that's that. So now, Eubank Jr. is having to look at himself right now. Everyone around the world thinks he got his just dues. They don't like him, you know. And I'm not sure how this is going to work because he's had 2 step-up fights and lost them both. No potential new trainer is going to listen to what he has to say in terms of how he thinks the camp should be run. They're going to want to make changes. So now he's at a crossroads in his career. Is he just going to try and continue the same way? Which he won't be able to. No coach of any standing is going to let Junior take control of the camp. You can get some little ragamuffin guy to do that, but what's the point? That's not going to get him nowhere, you know? So he's at a crossroads in his career now. Try and struggle along with him trying to take charge of the camp, or actually listen to his dad, develop the game plans together as a team with Ronnie Davis, listen to them in the corner, or get someone in. It's all on Eubank Jr. really right now. Because I think it's been since the Quinlan fight where he's been seeking to get out of his father's shadow. So I think he's been, I can do all of this by myself. Because I think in the Saunders fight and the Nick Blackwell fight, I think he was taking more instruction from his dad. Remember the Blackwell fight when his dad said, stop going for the head? You don't want to kill off Nick. He did stop going for the head. He literally didn't throw much. Threw some shots to the body. Went to the body. So he was listening. So what I'm theorizing is if Junior was listening to Eubank Sr. on Saturday and was trying his best but just came second to Groves on the night because that's just how it was meant to play out, he would have probably said, yo, my son won. Because he knows his son was listening. But since he wasn't listening, he said, yeah, man, you lose, man. What happened to you? I'm not taking ownership for that performance. You did it to yourself. I didn't have the commentary on. Eddie Hearn said that Eubank was just telling him to pressure him. So if that's the case, then what Steve Bunce is saying is irrelevant because he needed way more technique than just pressuring him. If that's all Eubank Sr. was doing, I don't know. Like Eddie himself said, look, see, people want to come at me for my analysis, but I'm going to keep doing what I do. Because I know what I see, and I know I'm not totally inaccurate in my analysis. You can argue my scorecards, but my breakdown is my breakdown. Eddie said what I said. Oh, well, yeah, Groves didn't even do that much. That's what I said. It was Eubanks' mistakes that people focused on. And a few people have come out and said they've watched it again with no commentary, and it was a lot closer than what they viewed it on Saturday. That's all I'm saying. Everyone's saying bring a new coach in. I'm not sure about that. I think Ronnie Davis and Eubank combined, and maybe some extra assistants, they can sort this out. Because people have coaches, boxers have coaches who they listen to and they lose. Someone's got to lose. So you can't just say he's going to get coach and it's going to be all right. Someone has to lose, whether he's got a coach or not. You've got to have a team that you trust. There's no point in getting the best coach and you don't have no faith in him. You've got to get a team that you feel comfortable with. Not too comfortable. You're not really supposed to have a comfort zone if you're studying the game to be a contender and a champion. But you've got to have a trust. You've got to feel like it's somewhere you can go and learn something. So we'll see what he does next, man. Like Spencer Fearon was saying, when he was in America, he was being trained by Mike McCallum. I know Eubank Sr. done some work with him. Is that an option? But, you know, everyone is an expert all of a sudden when it goes wrong, but the only thing that counts is success. There's nothing you can say that is automatically right. It's just success. If Eubank was doing it all himself, Junior, and it was working, well, it's working. Nobody would say nothing. Success is the only thing that matters. So if he gets a coach and he's successful, that's fair enough. If Ronnie Davis and Senior are able to dictate what's happening to Chris Moore, that's fair enough. But it's just success. There's no set, he does that and it's successful. There is no set theory. How much coaches has Grove went through? Look at the Twitter spat between him and Paddy Fitzpatrick. It was ridiculous. And he was listening to Paddy Fitzpatrick as his coach. He had faith in him, but it went wrong. Like, Peter Fury spoke a whole load of sense, but at the same time, he said if Adam Booth was in the corner, none of this would have happened. Is this the same Adam Booth who took David Hay over to Germany and then we got Tollgate? You never know until you try. That's life. That's the bottom line of life. You never know until you try. And you can theorize it might have been good if they had retained Adam Booth, because Adam would have had a first-class breakdown on Groves. But anyone theorizing that, oh, you should have took on Booth because you're going to take on Groves in the World Boxing Super Series in 3 years' time from when you fought Spike O'Sullivan, that's ridiculous. That, you know, it's like, I've heard a lot of fighters talking recently, like Johnny Nelson, Ricky Hatton, and I'm not saying they can't say anything, Hughie Fury, Nassim Hamed, and they've all put in worse performances, in my opinion, than Chris Eubank Jr. Like, Ricky Hatton versus Collazo was absolutely awful. And, you know, if we're going to go there, the Costa Zoo fight was just foul-filled, and he wouldn't have got away with it anywhere else in the globe. But he done what he had to do to win. The Pacquiao fight was terrible. He didn't listen to Mayweather Sr. one bit. What about Nassim versus Barrera? He had Manny Stewart in. Manny Stewart is one of the best boxing minds of all time. Barrera turned Nassim and drove him into the ring post. That was embarrassing. And when he tried to drop his hands and he cracked him with that straight right down the pipe and his legs wobbled a bit. Come on, man. And let's not forget, Nassim spoke a lot too. And people were waiting for that moment. And when he lost, they came out and called him all types of whack, rubbish, garbage. They hammered him. He got hammered. And he retired after that. One fight after he retired. Don't let me talk about Johnny Nelson versus Carlos De Leon and James Waring. Don't even talk about them fights. Hughie Fury against Joseph Parker. Oh my gosh. Ugly. And DeGale, look, and they were, don't get me wrong, like people like DeGale and Brooke, they were entitled to get back at Eubank because he spoke mad trash about them. But DeGale has got Jimmy McDonald. Some people criticize Jimmy McDonald that he's just a fitness expert and he's not really giving DeGale the technical advice that he needs. Like in the Dirrell fight, after he floored him, he just faded out for lengthy periods until he came back late into the fight. I think he just scraped it. But when you look at the Porky Medina fight and the Truax fight, what? That was a better performance than Eubank? No, they weren't. They weren't, actually. You're going to say it was, but they weren't. They were terrible. Terrible performances. Should all of them guys quit too? Ask me, do I think, could Chris Eubank beat Porky Medina more convincingly than James DeGale? Hell yeah. He'd love that. That's his fight. That fight is right up his alley. Yeah? Porky Medina is Eubanks' perfect opponent. But for DeGale, pressure fighters, he doesn't do that well. Badu Jack, Medina, Truax, doesn't do that well. You know? See, a lot of people, man, I tell you what, man, a lot of you are not critical thinkers. You're not. And you're scared to think outside the box in case you get critiqued. Yeah? That's who you are. You're followers. You're followers. I'm going to argue that Eubank Jr. does very well at 168 against Badu Jack. I don't give a fuck what you want to say. Bark on the channel what you want. He does very well against Badu Jack. It's Styles. This is a classic discussion of Styles make fights. He should come back and he should select his opponents wisely. Yeah, you're going to have to take on some Styles you don't want to take on, but select your opponents wisely too. Loads of great fighters have considered what opponents they're taking on before they've taken them on, because some opponents just don't gel well with what you do. Some people theorize that Floyd avoided whatever Styles and this, that, African Americans. Triple G didn't want no part of Lara, and we saw what Canelo did with movement to Triple G, and we saw what Lara did to Canelo with movement. Abe Sanchez ain't stupid. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. I remember a certain Walker Smith Jr. getting beaten by Ralph Tiger Jones, who beat him all around the ring. What's supposed to happen? A journeyman. So do your memes, have your laughs. You should do. You know what I mean? That's what you derive pleasure from. You should do that. But let's realize this. You have no bearing on Eubank coming back and being successful. You have no bearing on that matter at all. Just like some of you like talk shit. Oh, you got the prediction wrong. You got listen. You don't come on my channel when I get predictions right and big me up. You have no bearing on predictions coming right or wrong. You have no bearing on a fighter going to the fight in the morning and getting into a big argument with his girlfriend or his wife and it throws him off. You have no bearing on the conclusions on the fight. You have no bearing. You can say what the fuck you want. Yeah? That's just intellectual masturbation at this point. I never talk shit to people if they get a prediction wrong. You know why I listen to your breakdown? I listen to your breakdown for the science, for how you analytically break it down, what knowledge I can extract from it, the entertainment value. But if I thought you was able to read minds because you was a clairvoyant, I won't be looking for your boxing breakdown. I'll be asking for the fucking lottery numbers tonight. That's what I'll be asking for. The difference between me and some of you is I can compartmentalize my shit. I don't like Tyson Fury like that. I really don't. As a person, from what I hear him say on social media, he might be a totally different person when he's offline. But at the same time, I don't believe that I can hate Tyson Fury into failure. I don't believe I can do that. I don't control that. He controls how far this comeback and how successful it's going to be. Not me or you. There are certain doubts. He's been inactive for going on to 3 years. It's the 3rd year now. There's no Peter Fury there, who's been coaching him since an amateur. He said he's got this big announcement to make, so we'll wait for that. But as for him being slim, it's a start, but it doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me anything. If you were to ask me my opinion, do I think he can be an elite fighter for the next 5 years? No, I don't. I don't think he mentally can withstand the discipline it takes to do that. That's just my opinion, and I'm sticking with that. But after hearing Steve Bunce talk, is there a possibility that the Eubank clan might split? Senior and junior? It might be that time. He's 28 years of age. It might be that time. If Senior is seeing it like, yo, well, Junior, you think, say, I'm a big man now, you don't want to listen to me, you don't respect what I'm saying. If that is the case, how strong is that bond?